Okay, so we have our quorums. So let's go ahead with the stand up. And who wants to go first? So just starting from right to left. Tong Wei, do you want to go first? You don't mind?
Okay. Uh, I've just created a pull request on 422. Story number 422. Yes. Have some question on it. So most probably, I can discuss it on next Monday.
Okay. All right. So I had asked through Slack for Tong Wei to demo the UI that is associated with that PR because I always like to see that before I review the code. I think it's useful. And also, Tong Wei had some questions in her pull request that we should discuss as a team. I thought we'd do that after the Scrum, but Tong Wei's busy after this, so we'll do it on our Monday call. Is that okay, Tong Wei?
Yes. Okay. No
Okay.
problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Sanja.
Yes. So Patrick, after the rebase, we did it together on last call, the waffle issue number 374. There were some aspect tests that were failing, so I have fixed those. I still see some cucumber tests that are failing, not only in my module but other modules too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know whether there's still some problem with the merge during the rebase or it is a whole new thing. So I'll have to figure that out and fix those before I, raise a pull request.
Got it. Okay. Perhaps after this we can look at it online. Do you have time?
Sorry?
Maybe after the Scrum we can look at it.
Sorry, Patrick. Unfortunately, I don't have time today.
Okay.
Probably
No
I'll
problem.
look at it offline and let you know of the status on Slack.
Okay. I've got your feature branch pulled, and I see the cucumber errors. There's something about a timeout. The server is timing out, probably an XHR calls not returning in time or something.
Yes.
That's what you're seeing? Okay. It's a long list of errors there. And then maybe we can converse over the weekend, and maybe on Monday we can look at it live as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Great. Thank you. All right. Sam?
Hi there. Yes. So updates from me. Yesterday, pairing with Michael, we were focused on website 1 and trying to adjust the karma calculation so that everybody who attends a Hangout gets karma points in the main Agile Venture system. At the moment, you only get points if you start a Hangout. So we're working on changing that to give credit where credit is due. That turned out to be slightly more complicated than expected due to complications with Factory Girl, but which I have a blog post on if you're interested in the dirty details. But yeah, so we'll be looking a bit more at that later today, I expect. This morning I've been working on recording a video of the walkthrough of the Oracle of Bacon assignment, which is just about to go out today for the MOOC students, and I'm just busy upgrading that to the latest versions of Ruby and RSpec and so on and so forth. But that seems to be under control. I'm quite pleased. So we've got that done. Yeah, and we signed up a new premium member, onboarded him. I always get very excited when we sign up new premium members. Good for the sustainability of Agile Ventures. Yeah, that's about it from me.
All right, cool. Thank you. Sounds good. Mika?
Yes, I have a pull request sent across, which is 426. The changes are not major. I'm not expecting much comments. So I think as soon as I get the review comments, I'll get that in. And my other fix is also ready, but I kind of want to send the pull request after this fix goes in. So because they're kind of related, after this fix goes in, I'll just rebase it again and send a pull request for the other one, which is how the tasks are shown in the view for the company people.
Okay, so the pull request you have out there now is the one that allows a company admin to assign a task to a company contact.
Yes.
And then the other one that you said you're going to wait on until the first is merged is the one that actually exploits that in the company person homepage in the task display.
Yes.
with the tab mechanism? Okay, great. Okay, that makes sense. All right, sounds good. All right, Laura, yourself?
Yeah, so yesterday I watched some pair programming on website 1 with Michael and Sam. Then this morning I just helped Thomas out on another project that we're working on, a CA Craft Academy. And then I've been researching the gem for our for issue number 427, which is makes updates resume available to the employer online. I've made a comment there. I'm not sure if I'm on the right track or not, so maybe we can discuss that later.
Okay, yeah, let's do that after the Scrum then.
Perfect.
So, all right, sounds good. So after the Scrum, which I guess we're closing the Scrum now. I think we're done. Actually, no, I've got to get my update on that. So real quick, I reviewed some PRs. I forget how many, but 2 or 3. Submitted a PR last night, which is adding authorization to the agency person controller using Pundit. So now I have a much better sense of how Pundit works, which is good. And then I created some stories yesterday and today to implement Pundit across all the controllers, most of the controllers. So after the Scrum, what I'd like to do, if people have a few minutes, is just to vote on one example story of authorization implementation, and then we'll just give the same score to all of the stories because they're all identical in terms of structure. And maybe we can talk about your investigation as well, Laura.
Okay, great.
Okay, so with that, I guess we can draw the Scrum to a close. And if anybody wants to hang out and vote on a story, one example story for authorization, that'd be great. And then we can move on to Laura's question. Anything else before we do that?
I was just going to ask one quick question about, I know some people were talking about rebasing, which is something that we've pretty much eliminated from our workflows because of the new GitHub pull request squash and merge feature. I wonder where is rebasing fitting into your flow at the moment?
Well, right now we tend to rebase the feature branch against development because the feature branch may have been alive for 2 or 3 days, as you know, and we may have added some things to upstream development.
Right, right.
Yeah, so the usual reason for rebasing. So you're saying that GitHub gives us a tool to allow for pulling in from upstream development automatically?
Well, so what it is that now when you're merging a pull request, there's an option. You can merge it and keep all the commits intact, or whatever commits are appearing in the that pull request, you can merge them into one. You can do. I mean, this is quite a few advanced open source projects used to say to people before they would accept a pull request, they would ask all of the commits to be squashed down into one to keep their like history of commit logs kind of clean. And now and that was quite arduous to do. Now GitHub provides this as an option, so you can end up doing that. But what it means is that for people who are working on a feature branch, if you're using that procedure, rather than rebasing master or developer, whatever is your main branch, you can merge to master. Now that creates a merge commit, but then that gets squashed out when you do your the PR gets pulled in. And what I generally find is doing merges can actually be a lot less work than rebases, if you know what I mean.
Okay, well, I didn't follow all of that because I'm not really that good with Git yet, but I'll research it. And then maybe everybody else.
I'll see if I can find a link and share that. Just it's something, don't jump straight into it, but yeah, I think it's something to be aware of, particularly if you're having trouble with rebasing locally. This might be something to investigate.
Yeah, the particular situation we're dealing with is Sonia was working on a feature branch that was very long-lived, taking quite a while, and once we got to the point where it looked like it was going to be ready to go, she had to do an incredibly painful rebase development, which resulted in multiple problems. Let's just put it that way. Right, Sonia? Did I get that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Right, Patrick.
Not a fun process.
No, indeed.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there with those painful things. I just put a link in the chat there. It's from GitHub about the squash commits. Now, unfortunately, what this in order for it to help the individual developers, it's something that the project needs to take up or not. So, but I think it's definitely a great thing for everybody to be aware of that GitHub now makes available.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay.
We had decided early in the project that we didn't mind a bunch of commits. Hewitt said, because I asked him, should we squash? And he said, I don't care about lots and lots of little commits. Doesn't matter to me. So we didn't go down that route, but this sounds like it might be useful. Cool. Okay. All right. So with that, why don't we vote on a story, if you guys are up for that, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's share screens. Get this rolling. Let me share my screen. Where's that control when you need it? There we go. Let's see. So I'll just take an example authorization story. Here's companies. So, and they all look the same. So basically we need to add authorization to the company's controller to authorize user action based upon their role, who they are. And all of the stories look like this. So they start with, pointing to our authorization spreadsheet. So you have basically a target that you're trying to achieve with authorization. So that looks like this. Everybody knows this, right? So hopefully everybody's seen this. So for the agency people controller, for the actions in the controller, we've authorized or not actions based upon type of person and the role. So here the agency person, for instance, can edit and update an agency person. Another agency person can also destroy or delete that agency person, etc. You can see some of these things that, yeah, you can do that, but only for your your own profile, nobody else's, that type of thing. So that's basically the target that we're trying to achieve. And then just, if you've never done this before, you need to review the Pundit gem, just to get an idea of how that works. And then look at what we've done to implement Pundit so far. We've got a few implementations in there. So given all of that, then this story has these tasks. Build a company policy file that basically defines the policy for the actions within the company's controller, company's controller, and then in the company's controller, using the policies, authorize the actions. I'll give you a little bit more sense of what that means in a second. Add RSpec unit tests for policies, and add RSpec functional tests for the company controller. And you'll note here that I say that I don't think we need acceptance tests for this, because all we're doing for authorization is we're making sure that we are authorized or not authorized in the controller. In other words, we're making sure we've implemented authorization in the controller consistent with the policies we wrote. So there really isn't much value to write a feature test for that, because we can do everything we need to do in a functional controller test. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me give you a better idea of what that stuff means. So this is a pull request that I put in last night for implementation of Pundit for the agency people controller. So let me look at the first thing I want to show you is the actual policy file. So here's the first thing listed in the task is build a policy file. So here's the model name _ policy. You can see it's in app policies, right? Here are the policy definitions, and these will make more sense to you once you read about Pundit. So this authorizes the update action in the controller if the user is an agency admin. Essentially, that's what that's saying, right? So these all make sense, and they're fairly straightforward to do. So given that, so I've written policies. Now in the controller, let me go through this. Let me just give you an example. So in the controller here, here's an example, destroy. So here I'm actually implementing or leveraging the controller. So this is a little tool we put in there so we get a reasonable error message if authorization fails. And then I just call authorized person. Person is an instance of the model that the policy covers. And that invokes the Pundit policy that we just looked at, the appropriate policy. Again, when you read about Pundit, you'll see how it all comes together, but it's pretty nice. It's fairly simple, but it's fairly elegant and powerful. So that's the controller. Implement the policies that we define in the policy doc. And then two other things we need to do. One is we need to actually write unit tests for the policy in RSpec, and those kind of look like this. The pundit guys have written a mini DSL, domain-specific language, which has these methods permissions, and they have this matcher permit, that kind of thing. So you can
We've lost Patrick.
Yeah. I imagine he'll be back shortly.
How's the UK today?
It's actually remarkably sunny. It's very, I mean, you know, it's not usually part of the deal. It's starting to,
So.
it's like, you know, but here when it's sunny, you just have to, I mean, I just make my cup of tea and I was like, right, I must get outside and enjoy the sun because we don't usually see it. So.
I believe there's quite a heat wave coming there or something like that.
Oh,
I always hear about the UK weather. So.
Right. It has been, September has been pleasantly warm by all accounts. Whether we're going to get any more, I'm sort of feeling it's maybe over now. But yeah, how is it in South Africa?
Oh, windy and very windy today, and sunny. As usual.
I'm sorry, how long was I gone?
Hours.
Yeah.
No, it was enough for us to comment on the weather in South Africa and London, and I think only less than a minute, I would say.
Okay. All right. So I'll be brief here. So I think we looked at a policy file. We looked at actually using the policies in the controller. I think we looked at a unit test for the policy file. Did you guys remember that? Saw that? So we're written an RSpec unit test for the agency person policy file, and that looks like this. So again, it's fairly straightforward. Again, there's a mini DSL provided by the pundit guys.
Pat, we're not seeing your screen at the moment. Actually,
oh shoot!
That's one of the general thing when you drop out. Annoyingly, nicely, it would come back in. If only Google would pay us for these little hints on how they could improve that.
I forgot that it just launched right into it. Okay. So anyway, here's the unit test file for the policies, and again, it's self-explanatory. Read the pundit page. It'll tell you what these methods are, permissions, matcher, all that good stuff. So they give you little hooks. Very simple unit test. And then for the agency person controller spec, we write a functional test for the policies. And let me just go to the top of this. So here's a section I added to the agency person controller spec for actions authorizations. So for each action in the controller, I just test whether we're actually implementing authorization incorrectly. I authorize the agency person to do this, and I don't authorize a non-agency person to do this. And these tests go through that. And then for each action, we do basically the same pattern over and over. So that's basically it. So these, getting back to what we're talking about here, those are the 4 steps that are listed here, and all of the auth stories look like that. They're basically the same pattern over and over and over again. And so I thought if we could just vote on one of these as an example, and then whatever score we give to that one, I'm going to give it to 435 through 443, I guess. So I got a bunch of stories stacked up for each controller, one for each controller. So with that, I'm going to stop screen sharing this time because I mean to, and I'm going to post a link to Slack, Met Plus channel, and we can vote on one of those stories. And then we're actually voting on 7 or 8 stories, as I mentioned. So any questions on this one? Okay, so I'll just do the countdown, 3, 2, 1, go, and then we'll put in our number. All right, everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Okay, looks good. Looks like we have a uniformity of opinion here, so 2, that would be it then. Excellent, thanks buddy. Everybody, so I will update those stories with that. I'll move them to the ready column and you guys can take them as you need them. I'll be queuing up hopefully some other stories we can vote on Monday beyond these simple authorization stories, but I think everybody's mostly got some heavy lifting still to do. except maybe Tongwei and Mega. So you'll have a quiet weekend. And I think that's all I had for this. Anybody else have anything we should talk about or do?
Just that one. So, just my one ticket.
Oh yes,
that I was working on. For
yeah.
What's it? 427.
427. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to call? Must I call it up and share my screen?
Please, yeah.
Okay. Just do
By the way,
that.
you took on a pretty heavy-duty story there, Laura, for your first one. You want to?
Well, you did say to me in our last Scrum meeting, maybe I should do that. So I've taken 2 days of research and just hope that I've been on track
Okay.
and learning. I just wish people would name their files a bit better because it can get a bit confusing. Where am I? Okay, share screen. Share. Okay, so came across this gem, which seemed to be quite a popular gem that everyone suggested to handle your different document types. Where is it now? So I don't know if I'm on the right track or not, but it handles all your docx, OpenOffice, even Apple, PDF.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only one that I could find. So I don't know if I'm on the right track in regards to the story, client brief, and what they wanted.
You know, I wonder if he was actually using that Apache Tika package on the back end. That sounds familiar. But anyway, yeah, that looks good. It's got the right MIME formats that it supports. And then what does it do? Does it pop up in a separate window that overlays the background, or how does it work?
I'm not quite sure yet.
Haven't
So
spiked it yet? Okay.
yeah. So at the moment, I was just searching just for different types of libraries that would support the different MIME types.
Mm-hmm.
So it came up with this one, and then there was, I don't know if we need something to upload the document. I don't know if that's been installed or developed yet.
Yeah, we upload. Upload means pass it to the crunch in the back end, and we download.
Yeah.
We grab it. So that's how we're going to do that. We don't need upload and download functionality. That's all ready to go. So that Yomu thing, does that just read, or does it actually have a viewer? Does it actually allow you to throw it up on the screen?
I will have to test it and see if it does have a viewer.
Okay. Okay.
You might have to create a view for it, but I'll go through all the documentation.
Okay.
For it and see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about this yesterday, Laura, after our meeting, and what we need to do is have the employer get access to the updated version of the resume. And one way to do that is just give them. So we want inline viewing, but that's what the client eventually wants. But a quick and dirty way to do that initially is just give the employer the ability to download the resume. And if they download it, they could save it to their local computer and bring it up with Microsoft Word. If they download it and they've got their browser configured to, say, render inline PDF files, then we could open that in another tab and use this browser. So there's other ways to get access to this functionality to start off with. So think about that too. So unfortunately, this is a story that is not really well defined, and there's different ways we can approach it. So your
Yeah.
thinking about it will be very helpful.
Because my other question was, is that, you know, if, like they said that the person or the job seeker might be able to upload an updated resume.
Yeah.
Does that mean it will then hide the first one that they've uploaded, or will that still stay there? I mean,
No, we only allow them
open.
to have, right now we only
One.
have one resume. Yeah, so
Okay,
eventually we're
great.
going to have to
Okay.
accommodate 5 different resumes, right? As their needs exist. But right now it's just, it replaces the one they've already uploaded.
Okay.
So.
Okay, great. I'll keep going through.
Yeah, this is good. See what you can find in terms of tools. And then maybe we can talk. You had another tool listed there too under the story?
Yeah, I did put, but it's for an uploader. It's
Okay. Yep.
yeah, just uploads.
Yeah, we're all okay there.
If you've got that, then that's fine.
Yep.
I wasn't sure. I haven't played around with the app as yet, so
Mm-hmm.
I was just researching.
Yep. Okay. Well, again, the more I think about it, the more it may be useful to just allow the employer to download the latest resume.
Yeah.
And then, again, we can render it inline if their browser is configured to show PDFs. Microsoft Word, I don't think is going to be rendered inline.
No.
Unless you have Internet Explorer, maybe it does that, but I doubt it. But anyway, that's one way to do it. I think it's eventually we want both functionalities. We want the employer to be able to download the file themselves because they may want to attach the file in some job tracking system they have internally, but also just be able to click on it and quickly view it inline, regardless of the format, docx, PDF, or whatever, so they can quickly see, is this somebody I'd be interested in or not? And if so, let me download the resume, forward it to my colleagues, put it in my job tracking system, whatever. So good. So that's good research.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you.
that's good stuff. Okay. Anything else, Laura?
No, nothing else from my side. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, all. I guess if there's nothing else, we'll call it a meeting and we'll connect up again Monday morning.
Great.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have a
you.
good afternoon. Yep. Bye now.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
bye.
Great to see you all.
Ciao.
See you. Bye.
Sayonara.